It's the season, all you mentees. That's right. Today's 5 graphic novel hidden gems are all horror-centric, and different types of horror. So, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back, all you mentees. So, we have another hidden gem, and this is the segment where I go and talk about graphic novels that don't get a lot of love, a lot of recognition, or I don't hear hardly anyone talk about. So I want to put them on a spotlight. Some of these you may have read, or you may have heard of, you may love, you may not like, but by all means leave those comments down below, let me know what you think, and also what your suggested hidden gems are. I love looking through all the hidden gems videos and finding people's suggestions. Sometimes I find a book that I end up loving and I make it like one of my top 10 favorite reads of that year. So by all means, please leave that list down below. Today's episode is a little horror-centric, but different type of horror. Some that are just creepy, some that are psychological, and some that are just right down beautiful. So, again, this is my list and my opinion. Does not mean that your list is wrong if you don't agree with mine. So let's go ahead and get started. The Eyes of the Cat by Alejandro Jodorowsky and Mobius. This book was printed by Humanoids here in America, and this is an original story that came out in 1978. As a matter of fact, this is the first time that both of my favorite creators worked on a book, and it was this 50-page book that they put together. So this honestly feels more like a picture book than a comic book. It's a splash page, and then you have the dialogue on the left-hand side. It's printed on yellow paper, and no matter if you get this in trade paperback or in this small hardcover format or in the big hardcover format, the coffee table book, they all have this type of paper because it just looks absolutely beautiful. And that's what this is. When I meant at the beginning of the segment, when I was going to be talking about some downright beautiful artwork, this is the one. And I think it's the perfect time to read it. There's a lot of creepy things happening here. Not a lot is explained, but there's so much story in between the lines. And whenever you look at Mobius's artwork, it just blows you away. For a book that's only 50 pages, and half of that being the artwork, it takes me longer to read this than it does a lot of modern comics, just because I find myself staring at this beautiful piece of art that Mobius has created. It's a comprehensive piece of work. Everything you need to know is in this particular volume. But I promise that if this is your first time reading a Jodorowsky-Mobius collaboration, you'll want to seek out other works that they've done together. Parish by Cullen Bunn and Jonas Scharf. Published by Boom Studios. Now, Cullen Bunn is a name that I'm sure you have heard a lot on this channel whenever I talk about horror-centric books. This one is a little bit different. This one is about opposing crime families in New Orleans, but mixed with a little bit of edgy horror in there. So there's this new drug called ash, and the Winter family, all led by Grace Winters, is the family behind dealing this ash. They not only deal in ash, they are the only family that knows how to make it. So what ash is a drug that whenever you take, you inherit the memories of the people that have passed. So the drug is really made from people's ashes. It's kind of creepy, but kind of cool in a way when you see people in here like inhaling a rock star's ash, or you get special powers from that person that has lived in the past. Like, for example, there's a scene in this particular volume where one of the characters has to take the ash to become this ultimate soldier. So he's a sniper, he's hand-to-hand combat expert all of a sudden. I think that's a really cool twist on this. And of course, because we're dealing with dead bodies, with ghosts from time to time, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a couple twists in here. This fits the genre of horror. It's one of the best ones that I've read in a while, and there's only 3 volumes, so it's mature content for sure. Whereas The Eyes of a Cat is probably, I don't know, I don't think all ages, but definitely older teen. But this one, absolutely mature content. Wonderful, beautiful artwork that really fits this type of story. The streets of New Orleans come to life, whether it's in the morning or at nighttime in a graveyard. And one of my favorite things is that there's a big cast of characters and they all look different. So it's easy to tell them apart. And I think that's something to say about the artist, because from time to time, whenever you read a book, whenever you have a huge cast of characters, especially if they all come from the same family, it gets quite confusing. So if you've not read this, absolutely check out Parish. Ice Cream Man by W. Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo, published by Image Comics. Last year I did my top 13 favorite graphic novels that are horror-centric. Then I did a few hidden gems. And people kept asking me why I didn't put this on that list. I don't have an answer. I should have. I should have done this last year, but hey, here we are. This was one of my favorite reads a couple of years ago. I was reading these digitally as they were coming out. Now, never judge a book by its cover, of course, but whenever I looked at it, at the cover of the first issue, I just immediately was like, I don't have any interest in a book like this, because I thought it was an ice cream man, or a serial killer that was posing as an ice cream man and killing children. It's not at all. As a matter of fact, whenever I reread this, I made my wife read it and my oldest daughter, because this is more of a Twilight Zone-ish Tales from the Crypt type of story. So it's an anthology where each issue is a different type of story with different types of characters. And the Ice Cream Man in Ice Cream is a little bit centric. Sometimes he plays a big role in the story, sometimes he plays a minor role in the stories. And it ranges anywhere from something horrible, like a kid that has murdered his parents, and there's a big twist in that particular story, to an aging rock star that hasn't had any hits, just known for a one-hit wonder, but is taken to an intergalactic battle and only his song can save the entire universe. So it's stories like that. Now, we don't know exactly what the Ice Cream Man is. We don't know his background. The more you read it, this is a multi-volume series, by the way, the more you get to find out. But you will be questioning, is he some kind of god? Do people really see an Ice Cream Man? Is he a werewolf? Is he eternal? What exactly is he? Doesn't matter. It's more about the stories within the comic that matter. All the characters that appear in that one single issue. And it's just mind-blowing how much of a range that Prince has when it comes to storytelling. And the artwork is right down creepy and beautiful. And I can't imagine anyone else drawing this particular series and making it look the way that it does. Because even though he looks kind of creepy on the cover, there's still this niceness to the Ice Cream Man that is very approachable. But anyway, absolutely 100%. You may hear me talk about this more on the channel. Freaks of the Heartland by Steve Niles and Greg Ruth, published by Dark Horse Comics. Now, this came out, I want to say, a little over a decade ago, and this collects all of the single issues in there. I think there were a total of 6 or 8 of them originally. It's been published in hardcover format, it's been published in standard size hardcover, and in this trade paperback format. So to me, this feels like Of Mice and Men meets a little bit of Basket Case. Okay, maybe not Basket Case. Maybe that's a bad movie to compare it to. But what it is, it's the story of Trevor and his family. They're living out in the middle of nowhere in this farmland in the 30s. It looks like the Great Depression. As a matter of fact, the pictures depict that way. The land, the way that people look, the way they talk. So his family has a secret. And they've been keeping his brother in the barn. And it's not a secret to him because it's his job to go and feed his brother. Now, his brother is this big creature, but he's younger than him. We've come to find out that he's a lot younger than Trevor. And this is Will. And Will has certain powers, and that's why the family has kept him hidden from society. So one day, Trevor decides to let his brother loose. Something horrible happens within the family, and they escape. And I think that's why I compared it to Of Mice and Men. So it's both of them traveling and trying to figure out exactly where to go. And throughout their journey, they encounter other people that may be like Will, that may have powers. And you kind of get an idea of what's caused all of this. And of course, the townsfolk aren't having it. They're going to go after them. So it's this whole, you cheer for these, what some would call monsters, but they're just children. So to me, it's a really beautiful story. The artwork is phenomenal, and I couldn't put it down. I don't think, unlike Ice Cream Man, I think Ice Cream Man is a little more mature content, probably older teen. This is probably teen. I mean, to me, it felt more like Of Mice and Men than a horror story, but it does definitely have horror imageries in there. Last but not least is the Crawl Space Omnibus by Rick Remender and various artists, published by Image Comics. Now, these were individually published in collections of trade paperbacks, like the pirate story in here, but this is an all-in-one. And how much fun was this? I got this a few years ago and I had no expectations. I had become a big Rick Remender fan. I had enjoyed everything he had done from Uncanny X-Force to Fear Agent, and I wanted to try out some of the stuff that he did for horror comics. This is a big book, by the way. And this has everything. I mentioned pirates, but this also has aliens, it has zombies, it has porn stars, and so much more. But my favorite story in here, of course, happens to be the one with porn stars, but it's not because of that, but it's because... So, absolutely mature content, by the way. Absolutely mature content. In the summer of 1977, a zombie-filled plane crashes in Hollywood. And you really don't get an origin as to where they came from. Not that it matters. So, Zombies, XXX Zombies, that's how it's spelled, centers around a group of porn stars that were filming, and then they all get caught up in this zombie plague. That's the story of Zombies. Sadly, that one kind of wraps up pretty fast, but there's enough left for wanting more. Then you have the pirate story in here. You have an alien story. There's all kinds of stories in here that this kind of is like an anthology. You have artwork in here from Kieran Dwyer, Francesco Francavilla, Tony Moore, Saul Good Sam, and Paul Harmon, just to name a few of the artists that Rick Remender works with. It's a beautiful collection, and honestly, this one can be found pretty cheap. I remember finding this pretty cheap. And absolutely, to me, if you're a Rick Remender fan, what are you waiting for? And if you want to try out different types of stories with different artwork, like I mentioned, pirates, all the way to aliens and zombies, then by all means, this definitely belongs in your collection. And it is oversized, so the library edition like this is the size of those other books like Deadly Class or Low that are in the Rick Remender library editions. If you're interested in purchasing any of these books, don't forget to check out our sponsors. CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They pride themselves on packaging your books so they arrive safely and in excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. Check out the bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. CGN is excited to announce that they are now taking pre-orders. They're making it easier for you to ensure that you don't miss out on the hottest releases. CGN is currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, let them know that you were referred by Near Mint Condition at the checkout, and you'll receive a credit for free shipping on your next order. This promotion is valid for U.S. customers only. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount and quality shipping and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. If you live in Europe and are interested in pre-ordering or purchasing Omnis, then you should definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices for Marvel and DC big books within the EU. Flat shipping of €9.90 for EU countries, extremely careful and sturdy packaging, emails are answered within 24 hours, and they have a superb selection of new releases and out-of-print books on their website. Just head over to waltzcomicshop.com for more great deals and rare titles, and for a limited time, you can use the code NEARMINTCONDITION, all one word, at the checkout for free shipping to all EU countries with your first order. Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for Omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. And that was it. That was my hidden gems for the month of October. Of course, all these being a little bit horror-centric, some more than others. By all means, please leave your list down below. Check out my top 13 favorite graphic novels that are horror-centric. And then I did some hidden gems last year, too, if you want to check those out. I'll be doing my favorite horror reads that I've had this year, and also my favorite horror manga later on this month. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel and ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. Big shout out to our patrons for making videos like this possible. Seriously, I could not be doing this without you all. So we do have a Patreon, and that is in the description of the video, and join if you can. Now, everyone, please stay healthy, stay safe, keep it creepy out there.